Sup? It's Greggatron. I hope you're having a good Friday. I hope you like my shirt. My uncle gave me this shirt. Shout out to my uncle. And I hope you like my sword. Yeah. Alright, so this sword right here is from the great Rurouni Kenshin. So before I get into the sword itself, this is it. I've talked about this show a number of times on my channel. Here, let me move my hand out the way. Yes, sir. That guy in the middle, front, that's the main character. And you can see his sword. Oh yeah. 95 episodes of goodness, for the most part. So, I really like this thing. I got it at QuadCon, which I showed you that a few months back. QuadCon is like a smaller version of Comic-Con. Same stuff though. People bring their kids. They got people doing cosplay, people dressing up. They got toys, games, old school games, statues, cards, memorabilia, merch. They got everything, man. A lot of toys, And of course, a lot of comic books, graphic novels, of course, and more. I think they even had an area where you could eat. Anyway, this is Kenshin Himura's reverse blade sword, and QuadCon is where I got it. First I saw Mugen's sword. I had purchased that. I showed you that in another video from Samurai Champloo. I think that was video number 2 for the sword collection. Then I actually stepped out and came back. I was like, wait a minute. I knew something was up because the blade was on the wrong side. So I'm like, wait a minute, is that Kenshin Himura's reverse blade sword? And the guy was like, yes, sir, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm like, how did I miss that? Well, then I felt bad because I already spent most of my money. And I only had enough money for one more item like this. And I was going to get Kenpachi's Araki's sword. That's from Bleach, for those who don't know. He's a Soul Reaper. Real badass character. Real badass. But I was like, I can't put Kenpachi's Araki before Kenshin Himura. I just can't do that. Anyway, they only wanted like 80 or 85 bucks for this. Maybe 75, I can't remember. Where Kenpachi's Araki sword was much longer. So they wanted it closer to 100 something. Somewhere in there. So I said, well, let me go ahead and get Kenshin now. Then I got the guy's information. So I will get Kenpachi's Araki's sword in the future. But that's not what this video is about. This is about Kenshin, gosh dang it. I really like this thing. I like how the handle part looks like some type of rocky scales or something. That's kind of nice. They gave you some texture behind it. Yeah. I like this sword because it's simple and clean. There's not a whole lot going on with it, but it's super to the point. Now, one difference I noticed in the anime, the handle here has actually a hole on each side, whereas there's no hole right here. This is flushed. So that's the main difference I noticed. They could have maybe did a little bit more. I don't think this was straight flat. I might be able to show you some pictures of the anime. But yeah. Got the red handle going on. That looks clean. It feels really clean too. And I don't mean clean as if it's not dirty. I mean clean like it feels nice. It feels smooth. You got the symbol right there. Yeah. And then you got the rope where you can tie it to your waist. So, really decent weight. Now, some might think it's the size of a normal katana, but it's actually not. So I grabbed a different sword to compare it, just to see if this sword would fit into the other sheath, and vice versa. But it won't fit. So this is a standard katana right here. This is the most standard size you can find. But if you look closely, see how one of them curves more so than the other? This one has more of a curve. So when you put this sword inside of this sheath, it'll stop halfway through. So that's the size comparison. It's kind of hard to see with the naked eye, but this is not a standard size. See? This one has a little bit more of a curve to it. Alright, so yes, this is a katana, but it's not a traditional katana in that way. Another thing that's not traditional, it's a reverse blade sword. Now, a lot of you, maybe not a lot of you, but some of you may already know what that is. If you know Greggatron, you know I love Rurouni Kenshin. You already know all about this. But if you don't know Greggatron, that's okay. I'll still tell you. I'll put this sheath down real quick. So this is a reverse blade sword, meaning the blade is on the wrong side. The blade is facing me. And the dull part is on the outside. That makes it impossible for Kenshin to kill people. He can't kill people even if he tries, because what he wants to do is protect people, help people. He's no longer a killer. So that's why he uses a reverse blade sword. Now, in order to kill people, you would have to flip the blade backwards, like this. But Kenshin doesn't do that. He keeps it like this. Yeah. So that's the main feature, I guess you would use. I like that word. That's the main feature of this sword. Let me show you. See, I shouldn't even put my finger here because that's where the blade is, right? Well, actually, no. This part I can't touch. See there? Even I get confused. I also noticed, real quick, this part down here is kind of a standard look. A lot of katanas, as far as the ones you can buy today, I don't know how they looked in ancient Japan and whatnot, that actual warriors used. But a lot of the katanas you can find have this design. That other sword over there, I'm pretty sure it has that same design. Let me see here. Yeah. The only thing is a different color. But that's, there we go. That look is pretty standard. And I looked in the anime. On the anime, there was nothing here. So this is just something that they added on for the sake of creating swords. Whether it's a replica or not, you might find that little design a lot. And it's probably the cheapest way to make that. Like I said, not much going on here. The tip, I was about to say ship. The tip is fairly sharp. I put my words together there. But yep, you really can't kill anybody with a sword like this. Now you can hurt some people. Don't get it twisted. You can still break bones. But these swords aren't meant for killing. They're only meant to protect. But you can still do some damage. There's a stance right there. That's a move Kenshin does. I guess I'll show you more like that. His sword style is known as the, well, in the movie they call it something different. They call it the wind dragon style. Something in the movies they call it. Sounds weird. But, see, now I'm drawing a blank. But, yeah. What do they call it? The Kamiya Kashin style, that's Miss Kaoru. Then the, the Hiten Mitsurugi. Yeah. The Hiten Mitsurugi style, that's his main style. But he refuses to show anybody that style because it's so dangerous and lethal. It's created to kill people fast. And his special technique in the show is called the Amakakaru Ryo no Hirameki. That stuff was crazy. Now, one thing about Kenshin, his technique, a lot of it was based on something called Bato Jutsu. Jutsu just means combat. Like in Naruto, how Taijutsu means you use your hands. Genjutsu meant like using your chakra. Whereas in Rurouni Kenshin, Bato Jutsu, that's your sword drawing skills, your sword drawing techniques. So a lot of his attacks were based on how fast he could draw his sword. And he used, it was called godlike speed, which is almost as fast as supersonic speed. There's another character in the show, he used supersonic speed. So they were like so close in speed. So what determined the outcome of that battle was their sword drawing techniques. So that's called Bato Jutsu. But yeah. It's good stuff, man. I really like this sword. I like the feel of it. It's basic, it's simple, it's to the point. Once you look at the blade, you can tell exactly what it is. But yeah. There's a character in the show named Hajime Saito. He used the Gatotsu style, which is a thrust. That's my favorite character. So I'll show some poses with the Gatotsu. It's kind of like you're holding a pool stick. Kind of, but not really. And then he would have another stance for when someone's up above him. I can't get too crazy because I'm in the house. And then he had a Gatotsu Zero style where it's not a open thrust, it's like from his core. Yeah, he had one. This was the standard one. Getting blurry on him. There we go. He had one like this. Like this. Like that. There might have been more. But yeah, get some good poses in here real quick. I was watching Kenshin when I was a kid, man. Good show. Great show. And I can talk about the show itself for a long, long time. But I'm not going to do you like that. But this is good stuff. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any questions about the sword or this show, hit me up in the comments. We'll talk. I respond to my people. Yeah. Alright, so that's Kenshin Himura's sword from Rurouni Kenshin. Alright. Have a good weekend and peace.